Once a 4. 2-11 The forsaking of Shiloh is alluded to by the psalmist PS 78. 60, 61. Compare once a 4. 21, 22 and is used in Jeremiah's prophecy to illustrate what Jehovah was going to do to the temple at Jerusalem. J 7. 12, 14. 26. 6, 9. In the 10th century BCE the prophet Ahijah lived at Shiloh. 1 Kai 12. 15. 14. 2, 4 After the assassination of Gedaliah, in 607 BCE certain men from Shiloh, either from the city or the region, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice. J 41. 5. Shilonite Shiloh middle dot night of belonging to Shiloh. 1. An alternate form used in the plural for the name of the family that sprang from Judah's third son Shelah. 1 ch 9. 5. Ge 46. 12. See Shelah no. 2. Shilonites. Shiloh. Its desolate condition was used by Jeremiah as a vivid example. Shilshah 930, 2. An inhabitant of Shiloh, a town of quite some prominence in Israel's history. The designation is applied in scripture only to the prophet Ahijah from Shiloh. 1 Kai 11. 29. 12. 15. 15. 29. 2 ch 9. 29. 10. 15. Shilshah 3rd. 3 parts. A valiant, mighty chieftain in the tribe of Asher. Son or descendant of Zophar. 1 ch 7. 36, 37, 40. Shemiah middle dot possibly a shortened form of Shemaiah, meaning Jehovah has heard listened. 1. Amorite Levite. 1 ch 6. 29, 30. 2. Ancestor of temple musician Asaph in the Levitical family of Gershom. 1 ch 6. 1, 39, 43. X 6. 16. 3. The third son of Jesse, hence an older brother of David. 1 ch 2. 13, 15. 20. 7. See Shammah no. 2. 4. A son born by Bathsheba to David. 1 ch 3. 5 He is elsewhere called Shammua. 2 Sa 5. 14. 1 ch 14. 4. Shemi middle dot possibly a shortened form of Shemaiah, meaning Jehovah has heard listened. 1. Son of Mikloth, a Benjamite related to King Saul's ancestors. Also called Shemim. 1 ch 8. 32. 9. 35-39. 2. Another name for David's brother Shammah. 1 Sa 16. 9. 2 Sa 13. 3, 32. See Shammah no. 2. Shemi middle dot m. Son of Mikloth, who, it appears, lived in Jerusalem. This Benjamite was related to King Saul's ancestors. 1 ch 9. 35-39 He is called Shemir at 1 Chronicles 8. 32. Shemi middle dot from a root meaning here. Listen. An Ammonite woman whose son was one of the assassins of Judah's king Jehoash. 2 Kai 12. 20, 21. 2 ch 24. 25, 26. Shemitites middle dot. A Kenite family of scribes living at Jabez. What connection they have in the genealogies of Judah is unknown. 1 ch 2. 55. Shemi middle dot possibly a shortened form of Shemaiah, meaning Jehovah has heard listened. 1. Second named son of Gershom. Grandson of Levi. X 6. 16, 17. U 3. 17, 18. 1 ch 6. 16, 17 Several Shemite families of Levites descended from him. U 3. 21-26. 1ch 23. 7, 10, 11. Zek 12. 13. 2. Arubenet, who was descendant via Era, a chieftain, was taken into exile by Assyrian king Tilgath-Pilneser Tiglath-Pileser III. 1ch 5. 1, 4-6. 3. Amorite Levite. 1ch 6. 29. 4. A Gershonite Levite. Ancestor of Asaph. 1ch 6. 39, 42. 5. A Benjamite whose 9 sons or descendants were heads of forefathers' houses living in Jerusalem. 1ch 8. 1, 19-21, 28. He is apparently called Shema in 1 Chronicles 8. 13. They're identified as a family head in Ajalon. 6. A Simeonite, the son of Zakur. He had 16 sons and 6 daughters. 1ch 4. 24-27. 7. One of David's brothers. 2 21. 21. See Shammah. 2. 8. A descendant of Gershon through Ladan. During David's reign, 3 sons or descendants of Shimei were heads of Levite families. 1ch 23. 8, 9. 9. Head of the 10th division of Levite musicians. Son of Jeduthun. 1ch 25. 1, 3, 17. 10. Caretaker of David's vineyards. Aramatite. 1ch 27. 27. 11. A loyal supporter of King David who refused to join Adonijah's conspiracy. 1 Chi 1. 8. He is presumably the same Shimei appointed as King Solomon's food deputy in Benjamin's territory. Son of Elah. 1 Chi 4. 7, 18. 12. A Benjamite from the village of Bahurim. Shimei, the son of Gera, of a family in King Saul's house, harbored a grudge against David for years after Saul's death and the removal of the kingship from his house. Shimei found an occasion to vent his long-contained wrath when David and his party fled from Jerusalem on account of Absalom's rebellion. Just a little near of the Mount of Olives, Shimei walked along throwing stones and dust down at them and cursing David. Abishai asked David's permission to kill Shimei, but David refused, hoping that perhaps Jehovah would turn Shimei's curse into a blessing. 2 16. 5-13. On David's return, with the situation reversed, Shimei and 1,000 other Benjamites were the first to meet him, Shimei bowing before him and making expression of repentance for his sins. Again Abishai wanted to kill him, but again David did not allow a text to execute Miritra Longo. Shimronites 931 leave the city. If he ever left the city, he would be put to death. Shimei agreed to these terms, but 3 years later he left the city to recover 2 of his slaves who had fled to Gath. On learning of this violation, Solomon called Shimei to account for breaking his oath to Jehovah and ordered Benaiah to execute him. 1 Chi 2. 36-46. 13. A Levite descendant of Heman who sanctified himself and helped dispose of the unclean objects removed from the temple at the beginning of Hezekiah's reign. 2ch 29. 12, 14-16 probably the same as no. 14. 14. The Levite second in charge of storing the generous contributions and tithes brought to the temple during Hezekiah's reign. 2ch 31. 11-13 probably identical with no. 13. 15. Ancestor of Mordecai. Tribe of Benjamin. As 2. 5. 16. Brother of Governor Zerubbabel. Descendant of David in the tribe of Judah. 1ch 3. 19. 17. One of the Levites who dismissed their foreign wives and sons when reprimanded by Ezra for having made foreign marriage alliances. As 10. 10, 11, 23, 44. 18, 19. 2 Israelites, sons of Hashum and Binwi respectively, who also sent away their foreign wives and sons. As 10. 33, 38, 44. Shemites Shimei Middle-ites of belonging to Shimei. Descendants of Shimei, the son of Gershon and the grandson of Levi. X6. 16, 17. When the first census in the wilderness was taken, the Shemites and the Libnites, the families of the Gershonites, had registered ones totaling 7,500. New 3. 20b-22. The Shemites were encamped with the Libnites behind the tabernacle, that is, to the W as Gershonites. Their Levitical duties included transporting, directing, and maintaining the tabernacle and its coverings, as well as the hangings of the courtyard, the screens both to the entrance of the courtyard and to the tent, and the tent cords. X26. 1, 7, 14, 36. 27. 9, 16. New 3. 23-26. Shimei had 4 sons: Jashath, Zena, Jeush, and Beri. But since the last 2 did not have many sons, they joined together to become a paternal house for one official class. This is mentioned in the time of David, when it appears that the assigned tabernacle service of the Shemites was divided among these 3 families. 1 Ch 23. 6, 7, 10, 11. Zechariah's prophecy especially included the family of the Shemites among those who wailed bitterly over the one whom they pierced, a prophecy relating to Jesus. Zech 12. 10-13. Joe 19. 37. Shimei and Shimei middle-on from a root meaning here. Listen. One of the 8 sons of Harim whom Ezra encouraged to dismiss their pagan wives and sons. Ez 10. 10, 11, 31, 32, 44. Shimon Shemunday. Father of 4 sons in the tribe of Judah. 1 Ch 4. 20. Shimrath from a root meaning God. A Benjamite family head in Jerusalem. One of the 9 sons of Shimei. 1 Ch 8. 19-21, 28. Shimri from a root that means God. 1. Simeonite ancestor of one of the chieftains who expanded the tribe's territory in the days of Hezekiah. 1 Ch 4. 24, 37-41. 2. Father of David's mighty man Jediel, and probably also of Jehoah his brother the Tizite. 1 Ch 11. 26, 45. 3. Amra, right son of Hosah, included among the Levite gatekeepers selected by lot to the assignment W of the sanctuary. Though Shimri was not Hosah's firstborn, his father appointed him head of the paternal house. 1 Ch 26. 10, 12, 13, 16. 4. One of the Levites who helped dispose of the unclean objects that Hezekiah had cleared out of the temple. Descendant of Elizaphan. 2 Ch 29. 12-16. Shimriath. A Moabitess whose son Jehozabad was one of the assassins of King Jehoash of Judah. 2 Ch 24. 25, 26. The name appears in the masculine gender at 2 Kings 12. 21. See Shomino. 2. Shimron. 1. Thornbush. A son of Issachar. Ge 46. 13. 1 Ch 7. When he was among Israel's sons who came into Egypt. His descendants, the Shimronites, formed one of the families of Issachar. Ge 46. 8. New 26. 23, 24. 2. From a root meaning Gardo text to a acute miritra longo, Shimron 932 Shimron. A town, the domain of a king defeated by Joshua. Jos 12. 7, 8, 20. It is perhaps the full name of the town Shimron, or possibly it is a reference to the fact that the king of Shimron was one of those defeated at the waters of Merom. Jos 11. 1, 5, 7, 8. Some manuscripts separate the names as being 2 towns, Shimron and Meron, but no place called Meron is elsewhere alluded to. Shimshai from a root meaning son. A scribe in the administration of Reum, the chief government official of the Persian province beyond the river, which included Jerusalem. Shimshai joins in writing a letter to the Persian ruler Artaxerxes in an effort to stop the Jews from their rebuilding work in Jerusalem. Artaxerxes put through an order to stop the work, which was resumed during the reign of his successor, King Darius Hystaspes of Persia. As 4. 8-24. Shin. See Sin, Shin. Shinab from Akkadion, meaning Sin, the moon god, is his father. King of Admah. One of 5 monarchs in the southern Dead Sea area whose rebellion against vassalage to Chedorlaomer was unsuccessful. GE 14. 1-10. Shina. The original name of the area between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, later called Babylonia. It was there that Nimrod assumed kingship over Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Karnak, and where construction of the Temple Tower of Babel was aborted. GE 10. 9, 10. 11. 2-8 Later, the king of Shinar, Amraphel, was one of the confederates who took Abraham's nephew Lot captive. GE 14. 1, 9, 12. This territory was still called by its original name in the days of Joshua. Job 7. 21. It is referred to by the prophets Isaiah, Daniel, and Zechariah. Issar 11. 11. Dar 1. 2. Zech 5. 11. See Babel. Babylon no. 2. Shining 1. A descriptive designation applied to the king of Babylon. Issar 14. 4, 12. The Hebrew expression thus translated NW, ro, ig comes from a root meaning shine. Job 29. 3. The rendering Lucifer KJ, da is derived from the Latin Vulgate. The Shining One is represented as saying in his heart, above the stars of God I shall lift up my throne, and I shall sit down upon the mountain of meeting. Issar 14. 13. Biblical evidence points to Mount Zion as the mountain of meeting. See Mountain of Meeting. Hence, since stars can refer to kings, New 24. 17. Re 22. 16. The stars of God must be the kings of the Davidic line who ruled from Mount Zion. The king of Babylon, the dynasty of Babylonian kings, reflecting the attitude of Satan, the god of this system of things, indicated his ambition to lift up his throne above the stars of God by desiring to make the kings of the line of David mere vassals, and then finally to dethrone them. Like stars that shed light, the king of Babylon shone brightly in the ancient world and could be termed Shining One. Shinshion from a root meaning crash in ruins. A city of Issachar. Jos 19. 17, 19. Owen Eshain, a short distance of Nazareth, may preserve the name Shin and has been tentatively identified with it. Ship. A relatively large seagoing vessel. The Bible generally makes only incidental mention of ships, shipping, and ship's gear, but it does afford some clues as to ships of biblical times. Other descriptions of ancient ships are derived from historical annals of various nations or from pictorial representations of merchant ships, marine battles, and so forth. Egyptian. Papyrus reeds, woven and lashed together, provided material for a wide variety of Egyptian boats. They ranged in size from small riverboats that could hold one or just a few hunters or fishermen, and that could be swiftly paddled along the Nile, to the large sailing vessel with upturned prow and the sturdiness to ply the open seas. The Ethiopians and the Babylonians likewise used reed vessels. Babylon also possessed a large fleet of galley ships. A relief at Medinet Habu depicts Otextoi acute Muritra Longo, ship 933, wood inlaid with ivory. The sail was of colored Egyptian linen, and the deck covering, perhaps an awning above the deck to provide shade, was of dyed wool. The ship's seams were caulked. As 27. 27. The Phoenicians were skilled sailors, carrying on extensive trade in the Mediterranean area, even going as far as Tarshish, probably Spain. It is believed by some that in time the term Tarshish ships, or ships of Tarshish, came to signify the type of ship used by the Phoenicians in trading with that distant point, that is, a seaworthy vessel able to make a long voyage. 1 Kai 22. 48. PS 48. 7. Issar 2. 16. As 27. 25. Possibly Jonah fled on a ship of this type. It had a deck, allowing space in the hold for cargo and passengers. John 1. 3, 5. One of Sennacherib's sculptures portrays a Phoenician ship with a superstructure deck, a double bank of oars, a sail, and a screen around the upper deck on which shields were hung. The prow of this fighting ship was long and pointed. Hebrew ships. When settled in the Promised Land, Dan was spoken of as dwelling for a time in ships JG 5. 17, possibly referring to its assigned territory by the Philistine coast. Jos 19. 40, 41, 46. The territory of Asher was along the sea coast and included the cities of Tyre and Sidon, though there is no evidence that these cities were ever taken by Asher. The tribes of Manasseh, Ephraim, and Judah had territory along the Mediterranean coast, so that they, too, were quite familiar with ships. Jos 15. 1, 4. 16. 8. 17. 7, 10. Manasseh, Issachar, and Naphtali also held land on or near the Sea of Galilee. While Israel had apparently used boats from early times, Solomon was evidently the first ruler in Israel to put emphasis on commercial shipping. With the help of Hiram, he built a fleet of cargo ships that sailed from Ezion-Geber to Ophir. 1 Chi 9. 26-28. 10. 22. 2 Ch 8. 17, 18. 9. 21. These vessels were jointly manned by Israelites and experienced seamen from Tyre. Every 3 years the ships would come in with cargoes of gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. 1 Chi 9. 27. 10. 22. King Jehoshaphat of Judah later entered into a partnership with wicked King Ahijah of Israel in building ships at Ezion-Geber to send to Ophir for gold. But Jehovah warned him of his disapproval of the alliance. Accordingly, the ships were wrecked at Ezion-Geber, and Jehoshaphat apparently rejected a request by Ahijah to give the project a second try. 1 Chi 22. 48, 49. 2 Ch 20. 36, 37. During the 1st century CE and the 1st century CE numerous merchant ships of various types plied the waters of the Mediterranean. Some of them were coastal vessels, such as the boat from Adramyttium in which Paul, as a prisoner, sailed from Caesarea to Myra. Act 21. 1-6. 27. 2-5. However, the merchant ship that Paul boarded at Myra was a large ship carrying a cargo of wheat and a crew and passengers totaling 276 persons. Act 27. 37, 38. Josephus reports that he once sailed on a ship carrying 600. The Life, 15, 3. Paul had done much traveling in ships. He had experienced 3 shipwrecks prior to this journey. 2 Co 11. 25. The one he was on this time was a sailing ship that had a mainsail and foresail and was steered by 2 large oars located in the stern. Such ships often had a figurehead representing certain gods or goddesses. The ship that Paul boarded afterward had the figurehead sons of Zeus. Act 28. 11. A small boat, or skiff, was pulled behind the ship. It was used to get to shore when the ship was anchored near a coast. To prevent its being swamped or crushed, the skiff was hauled up during storms. In this voyage of Paul's, the violence of the storm that arose caused the sailors to undergird the ship. It was apparently the passing of ropes or chains under the hull from one side to the other to hold the ship together, lower the gear, evidently the rigging, dump the cargo of wheat overboard, throw away the tackling, and lash hotex to a acute muritra longo. Ship E 934 sometimes followed when riding out a gale. Act 27. 29, 30, 40. A sounding lead was used to determine the depth of the water. Act 27. 28. The Apostle Paul uses the term anchor figuratively when he speaks to his spiritual brothers in Christ, calling the hope set before them an anchor for the soul. Hope 6. 19. Compare F4. 13, 14. Ches 1. 6-8. Shippi Shiphi from a root that means abound. A Simeonite whose son was one of the tribal chieftains who extended their pasture grounds during Hezekiah's reign. 1 Ch 4. 24, 37-41. Shipmite possibly, of belonging to Shechem. The designation for Zabdi, David's manager of the wine supply. 1ch 27. 27. It could indicate that Zabdi came from either Sibmath 1 30. 28 or Shechem. New 34. 10, 11. Shipra are agreeable. Polished. Elegant. The Greek Septuagint reads Sepra in both Exodus 1. 15 and 2. 21. The Masoretic text, however, reads Shipra and Zipra respectively. The Aramaic form of the name is Sapira. Shipra was one of the Hebrew midwives who, together with Pa'ah, was commanded by Pharaoh to kill all the Hebrew male babies immediately at birth. Being a God-fearing woman, however, and having respect for the sanctity of human life Ge 6, she preserved the boy babies alive and was blessed by Jehovah with a family of her own. X1. 15-21. See midwife. Shiptan Shiptan from a root meaning judge. Father of Kemuel, the chieftain representing Ephraim, when the promised land was divided among the tribes of Israel. New 34. 17, 18, 24. Shisha. Father of Solomon's secretaries Elihareph and Ahijah. 1 Kai 4. 3. Caesarea 2. Shishak. An Egyptian king that is known as Shishonkai from Egyptian records. Shishak, regarded as the founder of the Libyan dynasty, is generally credited with a rule of about 21 years. His son Asorkani succeeded him to the throne. When Jeroboam fled to Egypt to escape the wrath of King Solomon, Shishak ruled there. 1 Kai 11. 40-some years later, in the 5th year of Solomon's successor Rehoboam 993 BCE, Shishak invaded Judah with a mighty force of chariots and horsemen. He captured fortified cities in Judah and then came to Jerusalem. But Jehovah did not allow him to bring Jerusalem to ruin, for Rehoboam and the princes of Judah humbled themselves upon receiving a message from the prophet Shemaiah. Shishak, however, did strip the city of its treasures. 2ch 12. 1-12. There is archaeological evidence concerning Shishak's invading the area of Palestine. A fragment of a stele found at Megiddo mentions Shishak, possibly indicating that the stele was erected there to commemorate his victory. Ancient Near Eastern Texts, edited by J. Pritchard, 1974, pages 263, 264. Also, a relief on a temple wall at Kanathian, part of the ancient Egyptian city of Thebes, lists numerous cities or villages that Shishak conquered. Picture, Volume 1, p. 952. Supplements to Vetus Testamentum, Leiden, 1957, Volume IV, pages 59, 60. A considerable number of the places that can be identified with biblical sites were located in the territory of the 10-tribe kingdom. This would indicate that the purpose of Shishak's campaign was, not to assist the 10-tribe kingdom, but to gain control of the important trade routes and thereby extend Egypt's power and influence. Shitri officer. A native of Sharon placed over the herds of David that grazed there. 1ch 27. 29. Shittim acacia trees. 1. A location on the desert plains of Moab to which the encampment of the Israelites extended from Beth Jeshimoth. New 25. 1. 33. 49. Jos 2. 1. Evidently Shittim is a shortened form of the name Abel Shittim, watercourse of the acacia trees. Some have identified it with Tel El Kafrain, a low hill about 8 km 5 mi of Beth Jeshimoth Tel El Azimah, near the Eni corner of the Dead Sea. However, Tel El Hammam, a larger site occupying Otex to Acute Muritra Longo, shouldered 935 immorality and idolatry. Jehovah brought Israel across the Jordan by a miracle, and at Gilgal he rolled away the reproach of Egypt. New 22. 4. 25. 8. 31. 3-11, 48-50. Jos 3. 1, 14-17. 5. 9. 2. If it designates a particular torrent valley, the torrent valley of the acacia trees Shittim may be the lower course of the torrent valley of Kidron. Jo 3. 18. Shiza Shiza. Rubenat, father of David's warrior Adina. 1 Ch 11. 26, 42. Shoshua. A people or an area named along with Pecod and Koa as providing military forces that Jehovah would bring against unfaithful Jerusalem. As 23. 4, 22, 23. Shobab Shubab, from a root meaning return. Bring back. 1. The son of Caleb, the brother of Jerahmeel. Tribe of Judah. 1 Ch 2. 9, 18. 2. The son of David and Bathsheba. 2 Sa 5. 14. 1 Ch 3. 5. 14. 4. Shobak Shubach. Army chief of Syrian king Hadadezer. In directing an army of Syrians hired by the Ammonites to fight against David, Shobak lost the battle in his life along with 40-700 of his men. 2 Sa 10. 15-19. His name is spelled Shofak at 1 Chronicles 19. 16, 18. Shabai Shubai. A Levite, founder of a family of temple gatekeepers. Some of his descendants returned from the Babylonian exile with Zerubbabel. As 2. 1, 2, 40, 42. Ne 7. 45. Shobal Shubal. 1. A Horite Sheikh, son of Ser, and himself the father of 5 sons. Ge 36. 20, 23, 29. 1 Ch 1. 38, 40. 2. A son of Hur, descended from Caleb of the tribe of Judah. A number of descendants are credited to Shobal, including the inhabitants of Kiriath Jearim and other towns. 1 Ch 2. 50, 52, 53. 4. 1, 2. Shobek Shubek. An Israelite or the head of a family represented in the attestations to the trustworthy arrangement put forward during Nehemiah's governorship. Ne 9. 38. 10. 1, 14, 24. Shobi Shubai. A loyal subject of King David. Shobi and 2 others brought much-needed supplies to David when Absalom's rebellion caused the king and his party to flee Jerusalem. 2 Sa 17. 27-29. Shobi was the son of Nahash from Rabbah of the sons of Ammon. See Nahash no. 3. Shoham Shuhamonics. A Merarite Levite involved in David's reorganization of the Levitical services. Son of Yaaziah. 1 Ch 24. 27, 31. Shomer Shumer, from a root that means guard. 1. A descendant of Asher, whose 4 sons were chieftains and family heads. His name is also spelled Shema. 1 Ch 7. 30, 32, 34, 40. 2. Jehozabad, one of the assassins of Judah's king Jehoash, is identified as a son of both Shomer and Shimrith the Moabitess. 2 Chi 12. 21. 2 Ch 24. 26. Shomer is a masculine word in Hebrew. Shimrith is feminine. Some view Shomer as the father of Jehozabad and Shimrith as his mother. However, Shomer may have been the father of Shimrith. If this is the case, Jehozabad was the grandson of Shomer, the term son often meaning descendant. Shofak Shufak. Alternate form of the name Shobak. 1 Ch 19. 16, 18. See Shobak. Shoulder. The part of the body of man or beast that protrudes to the sides below the neck. By extension, a rounded or sloping part of a hill. Also capacity for bearing burdens or responsibility. Anciently, as today, it was customary to carry loads on the shoulders. Ge 21. 14. X 12. 34. The Ark of the Covenant was to be carried, not on a wagon, but on the shoulders of Levites. 1 Ch 15. 15. Jos 3. 14, 15. 2 Sa 6. 3, 6-9, 13. A heavy load on the shoulders could denote oppression or slavery. PS 81. 5, 6. Issa 10. 27. 14. 25. Mount 23. For the tribe of Issachar was foretold to bend down his shoulder to bear burdens. Ge 49. 14, 15. In Israel's history this tribe was willing to take responsibility and do hard work. It supplied many courageous fighters for Judge Barak and, later, provided Judge Tola. Also, in the time of David, this tribe furnished many wise and valiant men. JG 5. 13, 15. 10. 1, 2. 1 ch 7. 1-5. 12. 23, 32. An authority or responsibility was said to rest on one's shoulder. Isaiah's prophecy foretold Otex to acute miritra longo, shovel 936 garments, evidently picturing certain authorities that would depend on or rest upon the shoulders of the great high priest, Jesus Christ. X 28. 6, 7, 12, 22-28. See High Priest. After blessing Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, Jacob said to Joseph, I do give you one shoulder of land more than to your brothers, thereby designating Joseph as the possessor of firstborn rights. Ge 48. 22. Compare to 21. 17. 1 ch 5. 1, 2. Moses said of Benjamin, when he blessed the sons of Israel, let the beloved one of Jehovah reside in security by him, and he must reside between his shoulders. The 33. 12. This seems to refer to the fact that the kings of the line of David would have their seat of government in Benjamin's territory. The same Hebrew word used here for shoulder is translated side or slope at Joshua 15. 8 at Mo, NW, speaking of a slope of the hill on which Jerusalem then stood. See other examples at X 27. 14, 15. New 34. 11. Jos 15. 10. 1 Chi 6. 8. Es 25. 9. Giving a stubborn shoulder represents resistance against God's counsel and law. Ne 9. 29. Zech 7. 11. While serving shoulder to shoulder indicates unity of action. Zep 3. 9. The officiating priest was given the shoulder of the ram of the Nazirite sacrifice at the completion of his vow, this constituting a part of the priest's portion. New 6. 19, 20. See also to 18. 3. Shovel. A long-handled scooping implement. Shovels made of copper were employed at the tabernacle for clearing away the ashes from the altar of burnt offering. X 27. 1-3. 38. 3. New 4. 14. Serving the same purpose were the copper shovels the Hebrew Phoenician workman Hiram made for use at the temple built by Solomon. 1 Chi 7. 13, 14, 40, 45. These were among the temple utensils that the Babylonians carried away in 607 BCE to Ca 25. 8, 14. Ja 52. 18. Shovels, perhaps made of wood, were used to winnow grain. Issa 30. 24. The broad winnowing shovel was employed at a threshing floor to scoop up threshed grain and throw it into the air against the wind, which blew away the refuse, such as chaff, and allowed the grain to fall to the threshing floor. John the Baptist prophetically described the Messiah as having in hand a figurative winnowing shovel, with which he would separate symbolic wheat from chaff. Mount 3. 1, 12. See winnowing. Showbread. 12 cakes of bread that were placed on a table in the holy compartment of the tabernacle or temple, and that were replaced with fresh ones each Sabbath. X 35. 13. 39. 36. 1 Chi 7. 48. 2 Ch 13. 11. Ne 10. 32, 33. The literal Hebrew designation for the showbread is the bread of the face. The word for face sometimes denotes presence to Chi 13. 23. and so the showbread was in front of Jehovah's face as an offering before him constantly. X 25. 30. Ft and the showbread is also referred to as layer bread 2ch2. 4. Loaves of presentation Mr. 2. 26, and simply the loaves head 9. 2. The Kohathites were responsible to bake the showbread Sabbath by Sabbath, as well as to transport it when the tabernacle was moved. New 4. 7. 1ch 9. 32 Each of the 12 ring-shaped cakes was made of 2 ohms 0.2 fr, equal to 4.4 L or 4 dry quart of fine flour, and according to Josephus, no leaven was used. Jewish Antiquities, 3, 142 6. On the Sabbath the old loaves were removed from the table of showbread on the inside of the Holy X 26. 35 and replaced with 12 fresh ones. The cakes were stacked in 2 piles consisting of 6 loaves or layers each. Pure frankincense was put on each stack. Jewish tradition has it that the frankincense was put in golden vessels and not directly on the cakes. When the showbread was removed on the Sabbath, the frankincense is said to have been burned on the altar. 24. 5-8. The old loaves were something most holy, having been in the holy before Jehovah for a week, and were to be eaten by the Aaronic priests in a holy place, evidently somewhere in the sanctuary precincts. O textoi acute miritra longo, Shunem 937 Shrumis. Lexicon in Veteris Testamenti Libros, Leiden, 1958, p. 322. These creatures have long, slender snouts, tiny eyes, and rounded ears with a rather crumpled appearance. Of enormous appetite, shrumis can devour more than their own weight in food in a day. They subsist largely on insects and worms, although also feeding on small animals their own size and larger, such as mice. The kind of shrew mouse mentioned in Isaiah 2:20 is identified by I. Hieronymus Crocitura Religiosa. Osiris, Brugg, 1938, Volume 5, p. 463. Shua. 1. Canaanite father of Judah's wife. Grandfather of Onan, and Shelah. GE 38. 2-5, 12. 1ch2. 3. 2. Daughter of Heber of the tribe of Asher. 1ch7. 30, 32. Shua. The sixth and last named son of Abraham by his second wife Keturah. 1ch1. 32 Shua and his 5 brothers received gifts from Abraham and were sent out of his household toward the EGE 25. 1, 2, 5, 6 Shua's descendants, the Shahites, are thought by some to have lived along the Euphrates between 2 of its tributaries, the Balak and Kaaba. The only Shahite named in the Bible is Job's companion Bildad. Job 2. 11. Shual Fox. 1. Son of Zophar. A headman in the tribe of Asher. 1ch7. 36, 40. 2. A region associated with Ophrah, presumably to the end of Michmash. The Philistines who encamped at Michmash made raids in the direction of Shual. 1-13. 16, 17 No exact location is known. Shubael Shubia middle. God has taken captive. 1. Descendant of Levi through Maz's son Gershom. Another form of the name is Shebuel. 1ch24. 20. 26. 24. See Shebuel number 1. 2. Son of Heman, also called Shebuel. 1ch25. 4, 20. See Shebuel no. 2. Shuhapit. Brother of Chub in the tribe of Judah. 1ch4. 11. Shuham, Shuamites Shudasham middle.ites of belonging to Shuham. The only son of Dan mentioned in the Bible. He was forefather of the Shuamites, which is the only tribal family enrolled for Dan and which numbered 64-400 at the end of the 40-year wilderness wandering. New 26. 42, 43 He is called Husham at Genesis 46. 23. Shahite Shuhite meaning of belonging to Shua. Evidently a descendant of Shua, a son of Abraham by his wife Keturah.